But part of what I think we've tried to do with these films is we take people's preconceptions about things and we always want to change their preconceptions. Like there's an objective that we feel that people accept one vision of reality that's not quite true, and we want to modify that and change that. And I do think that limits the popularity of the films. I mean, I think that if you want to have a really successful film, it's probably better to flatter the preconceptions of the audience. And if you want to sort of attack or change the preconceptions of the audience, by nature, it's going to be a slower enterprise. So I feel with the films that sometimes we have a very hard time gaining acceptance right off the bat, but most of them over time have kind of worked, that people accept a changed point of view if they're exposed to it over a long time.
How has the new economic situation in the United States, how has it affected the filmmaking industry, and this attitude of yours that you just described, okay? How has it affected, and are you finding yourself changing the way you see things because of the economic crisis?
I don't like to get into anything that can be seen as political too much, but yes, it obviously would have to change, your opinions about how things work, and I think we were cowed before, where there seems obvious problems in the world of finance, but then we were told, well, this is the way markets work, and this is the logical way things happen, and people earn all this money for this reason or that reason, and then we see actually that's not true. This was an exceptional thing, a fake bubble or boom, and things were not on sound footing, and it was really different, and it was as crazy as it seemed. It seemed very crazy, and it was crazy. But as far as film, I think that for me, part of the reason I had the 8-year, I consider an 8-year gap between the projects, was that I didn't, among many factors, I didn't realize that we had been in independent film, in a boom and a bubble, and that we were in kind of a bust earlier, and that I was a little blasé about budgets, where when things were going well, like $5 million is considered independent film, it would be $5 to $8 million, and so people would ask me in meetings, like, how much your Jamaican project cost? And I'd say, 5 or 7 million, blah, blah. I wasn't serious, but I didn't really know what the numbers meant. And the real question is, like, what could you afford to make it for? Like, how much would you be able to spend, and we'll do that. And I remember meeting a filmmaker when I was starting to realize that we had to go much lower in budget. We were having this conversation, and I was saying, we have to go much lower in budget than we had thought. We've got to go much lower in budget. And then he said, yes, we've got to go much lower in budget. And then we finally got to saying what our budget was, and I was thinking about $2 million, and he was thinking about 200,000. And the reality is it's sort of in between, and we sort of made damsels for in between. And now for my Jamaican film, it's probably, I was talking to another friend, he made this one for 200,000. Probably my Jamaican film should be made for like 300,000, because they say all these things. They say, in Europe they don't like films with, there are individuals who like films, but commercially the distributors don't take films that have a black cast in Europe, and you can't get foreign sales for the Jamaican cinema. I think it's different because it's a music thing, it's very popular music in Europe, and it's not going to be seen as a black film, it's going to be seen as a music film. And I found it quite shocking that there's that prejudice. And then a British company, the state financier, didn't want to make it because what is this white preppy from New York know about, a black Christian church in Jamaica in the early 60s? And I have reasons why I think I do know about that, but on the face of it, it wasn't very evident. And so I have actually found so far the crisis liberating for me, because I realize I have to go back to the way we did it with Metropolitan, which I actually like doing it that way, and that we just have to take control of our own budgets and our own way of doing things and doing it ourselves, and do the best we can, hope for the best. And so I think it is kind of liberating, and we can't do it the industry way with agents and managers and pretension.
One last question. From your experience so far, what is it more difficult to come up with? Financing or a great idea?
Oh my gosh, they're both equally hard. I mean, they're both differently hard, but they're both very hard. I think, I mean, we tend to focus on how hard it is to get the financing, but it's also very hard to get the good idea. I mean, there are tons of good ideas, I suppose. You know, there are always people saying, oh, I have this good idea for you to make a movie, and their idea is fine. It's just that you have to get an idea that not only is good, but that it kind of works, somehow works as a movie.
And sometimes you don't know that.
Sometimes you don't know that until you work on it for quite a bit.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks.